Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Living Life with James, where we get into meeting people from all walks of life to hear different stories and perspectives, and also to gain some tools and strategies to help us navigate our own lives. Now, listen, today is a little more unique. Today, I'm going to be bringing on my cousin, Kristin Rose Kelleher. That's really all I know about her. This is a unique situation because I've never met my cousin. I'm going to invite her into the room as soon as she pops on. Uh, I'm nervous. I'm excited. I'm anxious. Here's someone that I have known about, have seen on maybe Facebook, but our families have never really been connected. So, someone that has been DNA related, but no memories, no connection, no interactions. So it's interesting. It's unique. It's, dare I even say, a little bit weird that there's been no interaction or connection. So I reached out and said, I would love to meet you. Please hop on with me and let's get to know each other in front of an audience and talk about this. Because here's a topic that I think some people can relate to. Having family members that they have never met, having family members that they may have lost connection with, and where we can go with all of this. So bear with me because we are going to have a real life interaction, real time moment between me and my cousin who I never met. So as soon as she pops on in the next minute or two, we're going to have the reaction together. So please stand by. So many things and thoughts are going through my mind. How am I going to respond? What am I going to ask? What to say to her? We're family, but we're biologically related, DNA related family. But really, what's the definition of family? What does family mean to you? What does connection mean to you? And I want to get into that. The countdown begins. Sit with me, people. So many different thoughts and feelings. A little uncomfortable, a little awkward, a little excited, a little nervous. I've seen moments like this on the Maury Povich show. I'm dating myself. So many different talk shows where people will meet their families for the first time and what to say and how to react. Oh my gosh, here she comes. Here she comes, people. Kristin?
Hi, yeah, James.
We are live and recording.
Amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. I can't believe this is so wild. I feel like I've seen your pictures over the years and like you've been like a character in my mind. I'm like, that's my cousin, but this is so awesome. This is really special.
First of all, thank you for being here. Thank
Oh my
you for
gosh.
hopping
Yes.
on. It's so good to meet you. I was just saying before you came on, hands are sweating. I'm like, what to say? I'm nervous. I'm excited. I've been seeing, pictures and moments. So here we are.
I know. I felt the same way. I was like, wait, why is my heart beating a little fast? Like I'm nervous. I'm like, I'm just meeting. But I think it's because I'm like, wait, I'm supposed to know you, right? Like
that's just the thing. I was laughing because I was saying, cousin playing on the whole reality TV, love at first sight. I was like, this is cousins at first sight.
yes.
And then I was thinking of like, TV shows where they bring people onto the stage that never met or they haven't seen each other in 10 years. There's so many things that go through your mind.
I know. It's really, really true. Yeah, I feel kind of like speechless, which is unusual for me. So
because it's like you just said it. You're supposed to know this person. I've seen you through, Facebook. But that's it. And then I started opening this by saying, really, what is family? And technically we are biologically related. There's DNA there, but when you sit with the concept, at least for me, in thinking about family, family is about connections and memories and being there for someone. And as excited as I am, I'm like, yes, we're blood related, but we don't have the latter part of that.
I know. And there's so much like I think because like both my parents were from such huge families, I feel like I keep like coming into this situation where I'm like, oh, like I don't, and I don't even know how we're related. Do you know?
So I do. Yeah, let me set this up for the audience. So
Okay.
here's the bottom line, guys. So Kristen's father is my uncle and
Okay.
godfather. Unfortunately, our families, or my father, I'll own what I know in terms of my
Mm,
father has really kind of separated himself early on. So while we had a very small immediate family, my father
mhm,
kind of distanced himself for, I'm sure, many different reasons.
mhm.
And the reason why I wanted to do this today was not only to meet you and decide where are we going with this. We know we're cousins, and how
Yes.
far do we want to go with maybe this connection, but also to kind of have a platform to talk about family and mental health. And I
Mhm.
say that because I know my dad isolated himself again for many different reasons. My father is no longer with us, as I know the same about your father.
Yes.
So staying true to honoring who our fathers were, but also being able to just kind of speak around a disconnect that's happened. And I know for me, again, my father and my immediate family were isolated.
Mhm.
I'm sure that shows up and it affects mental health and, generations to come, because I don't know who my cousin is, or I know of you, but I
Yeah.
never met you.
No, and that's interesting to hear you say that because my dad was actually like the same exact way. He very much like kind of isolated us and our immediate family and really was so focused on creating a good, healthy family dynamic for us. And for whatever, multiple reasons, like you said, like that he felt like we needed to sort of focus on our little home and developing that. And it's strange because I went to my grandmother's funeral and I was like, weird, I don't know you. Which but like I 100%, my dad was my person. He passed away 2.5 years ago now. And so whatever, I don't know, he always was just like the best, and I know wanted the best for us. And so I just sort of like whatever his wishes were and are, I still am just like, okay. But it was interesting because he was the one who told me to add you on Facebook
Oh,
years and years
wow.
ago, which was really, really cool. So, yeah, it was actually when I came out as bisexual to my dad and I was feeling like really lonely and like all these things. And he goes, we have some cousins, there's like a lot of queer family members on my dad's side. And so he was like connecting me, maybe even if I didn't talk to them, but to sort of see like, look, you're not like the black sheep. There's like you're not alone. There's, it's not this like
Yeah.
anomaly that you are this way, it's like, and he was like, yeah, trying to wrap his head around it. He was Irish Catholic, but he's like, yeah, maybe there's something like genetic there. And I was like, I don't know. I was really appreciative that he was trying to find like his own way into
Thank
that.
you. Yes. Thank you. You listen, I just have to jump in because I have to, listening to you talk. Um, this is real for me. I got goosebumps listening to you, and I'm like flooded with emotions.
Yeah.
Um, because as you're talking, I'm thinking back to, I called him Uncle Joey.
Hmm.
Um, just remembering him, I was very young.
Mm.
Uncle Joey was a part of my life in, gosh, my very, very young formative years, in and out, because, we were South Jersey, you guys were in New York. Um,
Hmm.
and I just remember amazing memories of him. So I have that coming up. I have, what Uncle Joey looked like, and, full beard, and his younger years and music surrounding
Yeah.
him. And then I have goosebumps and emotions hearing you. And I had no idea that you were queer, that you were bisexual. Um,
Hmm.
I'm sure and that's probably why he told you to reach out. But I myself
Yeah.
am a man.
Yeah.
Um, so first of all, thank you for sharing this. But so much is going through my mind listening to you. This is amazing, and
I know.
I'm almost speechless. But this I know, I have shown up in the last few years, and I say this is my connection error. This is a time for me that I'm wanting to connect to people and
Hmm.
learn about connection. So for me, this is a good first start, and I appreciate you being here and talking to me.
No, me too. This is really, really awesome. Like, and I, since I lost him, it's really cool when I like his cousins who live in Boston. I don't know if you know Terry O'Connor and them. They were like Boston cousins, but they were on his mom's side.
Okay.
But I'm for those who don't know, I'm on the national tour of the Broadway musical, The Cher Show. And so we're traveling all around the country. And we were in West Palm Beach and his cousins came to the show. And it was crazy because I've met her a couple times and she's awesome. And she looks like him. And it was so crazy to see her at the stage door. And like, so I'm really just, even more so now than ever, like since not having him around, like seeing these little connections where I feel little pieces of him is
Yeah.
just been really, really, really special and important to me because, I know he's always with me. And I am so like I'm very much like my father's daughter, and everyone says I remind them of him. And like, we have a lot of similarities. So I know he's within me, but it's really cool to get to see that reflected in other people, like other
I
family.
agree. And all these little extensions, I think our journeys are similar. I lost my mom in 2023. So you lost your dad in 2022. My mom died a year later, 2023.
Mhm.
And then my dad just died in
Oh,
2024. Um,
sorry.
no, I'm sorry to you. So yes, I think there's connections in terms of what we've experienced, right? And losing a parent and what that does to you and how that shows up. But back to your point, there's something about these little moments of connection and bringing you back to maybe the heart or to family connections, even if you've never met that person.
Hmm. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I will say, so one of the things, I mean, as a gay man and Cher, enough said right there.
Yes, yes, of
For
course.
myself.
A match made in
Listen,
heaven.
you, all I know is Kristin Rose Kelleher, and I know that you are actress and
Mhm.
musician, singer. I see Broadway all over you, and I have seen moments on Facebook, and I see that, and I just heard you say you're doing the Cher Show. How can I
Mhm.
not reach out? I mean, that alone. I mean, so I want to know about this. What exactly? Tell me a little bit more about you. What are you doing? And tell me about this music side.
Yeah, so I kind of got into music like really, really young. As you know, my dad was a musician. He was a guitarist and a vocalist and had all sorts of awesome rock bands in the 70s and like lived his best like New
Yes.
York City hippie rocker life. He was just the coolest. And then he really continued to do that even when he became like a CEO of, like businessman wearing suits, but he always still had like a Beatles cover band and just different things he would do. So yeah, he like always just played music around the house. Since I was really little. And like people always ask, like, oh, when did you start singing? When did you know? And I'm like, I have no idea. I just like did. I just would sing with him. I
It's
would
always
like
a
he
part
would
of your
hold the
life.
microphone. Yeah, it just was sort of like a given. It wasn't like let me see if I want to sing. It just was that was part of life. You eat dinner and you sing.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I did theater kind of my whole life. Went to Syracuse. I have a BFA in musical theater. And then yeah, I graduated in 2011. And since then I've just been doing different like tours, regional gigs, cruise ships, kind of like, whatever, just following where the wind takes me. And so, yeah, I'm currently doing the Cher Show, which is a musical about Cher's life, told through three different women playing Cher. One when she's like, in her Sonny and Cher, like when she meets him, like
Yes.
16, one in
Oh
her
my.
20s when she's doing the Sonny and Cher show, and then one like 80s and beyond, sort of like when she breaks out and has her solo career. And so I understudy. I'm like the standby for the 80s, 90s, and beyond Cher, which is really fun. So I get to do that a lot. And then when I'm not doing that, I play Georgia Holt, Cher's mom, and Lucille Ball, which is just so fun.
You have a
Because
lot
they
of
were friends.
iconic roles.
Yes, yes. It's so true. Like, and that was a big part of like, when I was first researching and preparing, like, just watching videos and reading as much as I can, like trying to just like absorb them like through osmosis somehow. And like, I loved I Love Lucy as a kid. So that was I was like, oh,
Mm,
I know Lucy. And then I always loved Cher, but there's so
yeah.
much more to Cher than I knew before the show
Yeah.
too, because she just had such a massive life and like a hit in every decade and went through so much that I didn't know about, until
Again,
recently.
I say icon, amazing. So many different parts of her. Now, is this just a traveling show right now?
Yeah, so it was on Broadway. It closed right before the pandemic, and so the typically what the Broadway shows will have like a first national tour that will go out either while they're still running or right after they first close. And this one was scheduled to start in 2020 and then didn't because of COVID. So it just now has gone out. Even the shows, though the show has been closed for a while, this is like the first national tour. So it's been 2 years, and we close actually in 3 weeks. So I'm gonna miss it.
Oh my
But
gosh. Yeah, I
yeah,
wish I could jump in. Maybe it'll come back to Broadway and I will be there
it
front row
might.
and see you.
You never know. I have a lot of videos. I'll send you some videos.
I cannot wait to see them. I guess I'm wondering, when did you first learn like you had a cousin or you knew about me?
Really, I think it was like when I was struggling after I came out and I was
Mm,
feeling like, I come from a very Catholic family. There's like still a lot of kind of complicated feelings about it all. I have a long-term partner, but it's sort of, it's just a tricky thing to navigate to this day. And my dad was, trying his best to be supportive in the best ways he knew how. And so that was like his big thing. He was like, he connected me to you, to this cousin, Christina, and to Anne Marie. And I know Anne Marie, but I never met Christina and I never talked to her. But it just made me feel good in those kind of like lonely, confusing times. You know,
absolutely.
to see like, I remember seeing you and you just have like it just like seemingly such a happy, beautiful, wonderful family. And like that just gave me a lot of hope. And even though I like always thought, oh, maybe I'll reach out. And then I was too shy. And it just made me feel good to like see it from afar and be like, oh, isn't that
Well,
nice? You know?
that's so sweet of you. Thank you. And yeah, as you're saying that, I'm thinking, what kept me? So I remember that connection. I remember, God, years ago, knowing that my uncle, who again, we've lost touch. I haven't seen him since, I was probably 10 years old or something. Uh,
Yeah.
knowing that he has kids, but that's just what it was, kind of far. And then we
Hmm.
connected on Facebook, a year, 2 years, a few years ago. Um,
Hmm.
shyness, is it uncomfortable, is it weird, you have your life, do I reach out? So all of these things,
Hmm.
until I was just like, the hell with it, the hell with
Yeah.
it, let's
Yeah.
try to meet and see what happens.
Yeah, and I think because too, like we like anyone that my dad hadn't introduced me to, I was like, well, maybe there's a reason. But then I'm like, actually, he told me to add you on Facebook. So clearly there was something there where he's like, that would be a nice connection. So I like to think that he sort of like planted the seeds for that too.
And listen, so he's showing up, our family, our parents are showing up in this moment and
Hmm.
bringing us to this connection, so I'm grateful for it.
Me too.
I want to know, what do you think family connection is, as we're dealing and navigating the waters of like meeting cousins and people we haven't seen? Um, what are your thoughts? Something you're born into, something you build? What's your idea of family?
I think it's definitely a combination of both. Like I definitely have a lot of chosen family and friends that have become my family. And I think that's happened like, really, I don't know, especially in the past like five, 5 or so years. I wonder if it was like almost through like COVID and all of that. I like developed some really deep bonds with some friends and now they really feel like part of my family and, have shown up in those ways. And it's funny because I do have a lot of cousins on my mom's side too that I do know, but that we just lived far away. And so that's been one of the nice things about tours. I've been able to see a lot of people. Like one of my
Mm,
cousins I grew up with on my mom's side, like I haven't seen her, gosh, I don't even, maybe like 8 years. And it's literally just because she moved to California and then it was COVID and I was away and I was touring, I was doing all different things. And the show came to California and we saw each other. And it is cool though, how like, I don't know, the love is just still there
yeah.
always, no matter what. So I think I don't even know. This is not a very eloquent answer. I'm sort of just stream of
No,
consciousness.
I think you hit the nail on the head, because that's how I would describe it, especially being in our community. Family isn't necessarily what or who you're born into, right? That DNA.
Mhm.
And it's about
Yeah.
closeness. It's about the connections. It's about people that are there for you. And so
Yeah.
people that may not have family, build your
Mhm.
own. And
Yeah.
I was thinking about that, right? Like the people that are going to be by your side, the ride or dies, the people that got your,
Mhm.
that's who you
Mhm.
call your family, and that's what becomes your family or your unit, your own personal community.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think, yeah, I'm fortunate to have a nice combo of both blood family that is feels that way to me. Like my mom and my brother and I are all really close.
Wow.
And then yeah, I have some really wonderful friends. So yeah, it's sort of become its own like little thing. And I think even like my mom would feel like some of my friends have become part of our family, especially like in, when my dad was sick and, leading up to his passing, like it was just obviously a really challenging time. And those people really showed up for us. And yeah, the community that like rallies around you is becomes that family too.
I agree completely. The second part of that is, um, what do you want to do with this? The idea of people like in our situation,
Mm,
people that haven't met their fathers, people that didn't know they had a sibling out there, or in this case, they didn't know, or they know they have a cousin, but they haven't met. And I guess the big question is, what is behind it for you? Do you just want to meet? Do you want to try to become, social media or Facebook friends? Do
mhm.
you want to talk to them? Do you want to have a moment like this and say, tell me a little bit about yourself and where do you want to go with this?
Yeah,
So,
I think yeah, it's like trusting your gut with all of those
yeah,
things, and when you reached out, it just felt like such a no-brainer to me. I was like, "Wait, yeah, like, why aren't we friends?" Like, you know? So, I
absolutely.
guess I don't know if there's one clear answer, like, I think it's like a gut instinct, like, you just feel like you know who you like
Exactly.
energetically, like who is like should be in your life and who you like want to explore that with. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, again, you said it beautifully. And I think that's exactly what it was for me, right? Some thoughts of what would this be like? And just that instinct of why not? And why not have this a
Mhm.
moment? I mean, there's so many people in these situations that haven't met or lost connection. And that's why I wanted to do this, to not only meet you for the first time, but to show people that these situations are real.
Oh
And
yeah. And
right.
not
And
even always like dramatic, It's like this wasn't this like crazy, like a strange thing. It's just,
yeah.
both of our dads like ended up moving away, like creating their own worlds and their own families. And then, like you said, you knew him as a kid, and then everyone just sort of like loses touch, and that happens. Like, and so, yeah.
I again, I appreciate this. For me and my kids, I show up in a place to say family is a value to us. Family is very
Mhm,
important. And I feel
mhm,
like reaching out to you is also a part of that journey, almost role modeling that while we've lost
mhm.
touch, there's something to be said about the value of family. Yes, the family that we've made, extended
Mhm.
friends, but also saying, James, why not? This may be the time to say, what is this about? Let's at least talk. Let's at
Yeah.
least put this out there.
Mhm. It's so true.
Kristen, I just want to throw some questions out there to get to know you a little bit better.
Yes, let's do it.
What would be, I guess, something interesting or maybe random that people would never know or guess about you?
So I teach chess to small children.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's something that I always just think, like, everyone knows because I do it, but then whenever it comes up, like, out of that world, like, even last night I was having dinner with a girl on the show, and I was like, "Yeah, we'll see, like, maybe some of my chess clients this summer." She was like, "Chess clients? Huh? Like, how do you do that?" So, that was actually also connected to my dad, weirdly. He taught me how to play chess when I was little. Um,
That is
I always
interesting.
I was like a math, calculus, logic nerd in addition to
Yeah.
being into music. And so during 2020, when the theater industry shut down, I got involved with this chess company that teaches chess to kids through storytelling. So it like engages them, like we start them really young, like 4 or 5, and you start teaching them about like these characters and then the characters of the
Yes.
pieces, and then you kind of build on the whole thing. And so I started doing it just as like a little side gig, and then it became like a massive thing. And I had this like full schedule, and I was playing chess, like bringing my traveling chessboard, like, and my little backpack, like a little chess peddler. So
This is amazing. I mean, when you in the world of psychology, we talk about operating from the right hemisphere, the brain, the left hemisphere, and I'm
mhm.
loving how the math, the chess, the music, how it's just all coming together, and
Yeah.
you have the gift of both sides.
Yeah, I was never great at history and I was okay at science, but I was really good at math and really good at English and really good at music. So I'm kind of an anomaly in that way, I guess.
If your life
Yeah.
was a movie, what genre of movie and who would play you?
I thought about this a lot and it would be Sandra Bullock. I love
Oh,
her. I think she's like complicated but strong and also like quirky. And I think it would be a dramedy because I yeah, just like with a very dry like a
yes.
dry humor dramedy.
This is so, I kid you not, people, this is not rehearsed. I was thinking
Nope.
about my own answer and I said just that, although I didn't call it a dramedy, and I love that. I was thinking, God, my life would be a combination of drama and comedy with everything in
Yeah.
my world.
Yeah.
It's weird that you're saying that. Wow. Yeah. um, what's something that maybe you used to believe in your life that maybe you no longer believe?
Hmm.
Something that showed up in your world that you used to think about life or yourself that as you go through life you no longer believe, or you challenge that thought?
I think, I used to put myself in a lot of boxes. I thought of
Mm,
myself especially in, like, the entertainment industry, it's almost like part of the training is they try to have you figure out, like, who you are, what type you are, like, are you the quirky friend or are you, like, the young, like, love interest that looks like a princess or, like, "Oh, but you're tall, so you can't be that. So you're gonna
wow.
be the older, wiser friend. Oh, but you have, like, a long face." Like, people have, like and I told myself that too then, and I would, like, watch things and tell myself, not just in terms of like my industry, but in terms of how like the way that I looked or the way that other people perceived me was like defining who I was. And then I think, yeah, just over the years, realizing that I can be, that sounds really cheesy, but like I can be whatever I want. And like I just am who I am. And like,
Cue
um,
song, cue
yeah,
song. I am who. Well, that's a life lesson, right? I
yeah,
think
it is. And, like, just stop
something.
I just don't worry about, like, how I'm coming off as much anymore because I value one of the things I value most in the world is authenticity, and so I
Yes,
just ask myself, like, "Am I being authentic?" And then I
yes,
don't worry about, like, what it means or, like,
yeah.
what vibe I'm giving off. I'm
So
just like,
powerful.
"It's how I am," and
I'm
it's true.
Yes, I'm here with you, Kristen. Unfortunately for me, I didn't learn that until later in life. I always knew the power of authenticity in the spaces that I've been and how important it is.
Mhm.
But until I recently did a reality TV show, knowing
Mm.
how to show up and be true to yourself, no matter what people will say, because
Especially in
once
that environment, I imagine.
once you become and cross over to TV and just being a part of social media, people
Mm.
will have comments and thoughts of what boxes you should be in or what their thoughts are. And if you can just hold true to yourself and say, this is who I am, and I'm showing up unapologetically and authentically,
Mhm.
I wish everybody could learn that at an early age. So
Mhm.
thank you for saying that. It's so important.
Yeah, it is, it is.
Don't put us in a box.
No, you can't put anyone in a box.
No,
We all contain multitudes, and 2 or
no,
3 or 4 things can all be true at once, and it's just not that simple. We love to categorize as humans because it makes us feel comfortable and safe, and the world isn't the world can't be put in boxes.
yes, I wish everybody could be open-minded and have those same thoughts. I think that's probably the biggest lesson for anybody to take with them. So thanks for saying it.
Mhm. Yeah, thanks.
What what are your thoughts? I don't know. Where's your mind with this, and where to go from here?
I don't know, I feel, like, so surreal. Also, I'm, like, in a random hotel room, like, I was, like I'm in Ohio. I was like, "Wait, what state am I in?" Um, we just got here last night, and so I was like, "Where am I?"
Yeah,
So, yeah, I don't know. It just feels I think, like, this past year, I just, like, have this sense of possibility, like, so much
yeah,
of my life, because of the nature of the business I'm in, is unpredictable, and you don't know what's next. Everyone loves to be like, what are you doing next? And most of the time the answer is, I don't know, because you have to go and see, what the next project is. And
Yeah.
sometimes you have a month off, sometimes you have 2 days off, sometimes you have a year in between like big gigs. And I've been trying to reframe that as like exciting, and like a blank space for possibility, as opposed to a scary place of unknown.
Kristen,
And this,
you're describing your mindset and how you want to go into
yeah.
this, what you want that to look like.
And so, yeah, I feel like the same way in this moment. I'm sort of like, what am I doing? What are we talking about? Like, this feels very surreal. And like, yeah, I'm just trying to like ride the ride and just be excited about that. I like don't know what to say
All of that.
necessarily,
Yeah, no. Listen, and I'm going to keep it real. We're talking on camera right now. There's a part of me that
Yeah.
I'm excited and I feel the connection. I'm still a little sweaty in my hands, and then I'd love
Mhm.
to be able to talk to you off camera. And there's more questions that I just feel like
Yeah.
a little too personal and too deep. But I'm curious that I'd like just to keep private between us. So
Yeah. No, me too.
for me, I'd love to keep this conversation going. I'd love to keep
Mhm.
talking to you.
Mhm. Me too.
For me, I was thinking, what I could share with the audiences out there, and what to do with situations like this where you haven't met somebody or you've lost contact, and what are the next
Mhm.
steps to share. And for me, I
Mhm.
was thinking, it's about showing up, right? It's about saying
Yeah.
that I'm open to this, showing interest. Who knows where things will go, but I feel like in order to have any type of relationship, it's about showing some interest and consistency and building trust, and the little baby
Mm.
steps to saying, how do we create, if it's important to us, how to create any type of relationship moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that you just said it so perfectly. That's exactly like same page.
I'm interested, and I'd love to show up beyond just saying we're Facebook friends or we're Insta
Yes.
friends, right?
No, it'd be nice, like, now that we've sort of done this and, like, broken the ice, like, in front of a bunch of people, now it's gonna feel so, like be like, "Wait, now that we've done that, should we, like, have a FaceTime coffee date or something?" Like, 'cause I know, like, you're in Arizona and I'm in New York usually. I was in Arizona, but I don't know, we were in Mesa. I have no idea if that's close to you at
Okay,
all.
that's not too far, and had I known, I would have
Oh,
been there. That could have been a
oh my
moment.
gosh, that's okay. My
I'm
next
gonna have
tour,
to
we're gonna go through Arizona.
absolutely, or the next time I'm back east, I will be there. And I was in
Yeah.
New York, filming these shows.
Oh, yeah. Oh, is that where they film? Okay.
Yeah, well, between Arizona and then Brooklyn, so I probably wasn't that far
Okay.
from you guys.
No, no, I'm in Queens.
Listen, it's where we are now, and
Mhm.
reaching out, to me, this is a first step, and
Mhm.
I would love to know more. I'm interested, and I want to see these clips of you. I would love to
Yes,
see more
I'll
about you
send
being
them
in the
today.
shared show. Yes, send them, and let's keep this going however we can, and whatever feels real and true to the both of
Yeah,
us.
yeah, I'm down.
The interest is there, and I'm so glad we had this time.